All right, so good morning, and we are live with the Akinolas. And in fact, I was very excited this morning that it was Pastor that was coming to Pastor Wale that is going to come and share his intentional parenting journey. So, Anu, you will be in the background. I have told you. You're muted.
I said I'm more than happy to be in the background, to be at the
Can you
background.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear
We can
you.
hear you.
Yes. I said I'm more than happy to be at the
Okay,
background.
great. Yes, so you know how we do it. All right, so you're welcome to the My Intentional Parenting Journey. Pastor Wale and Anu will be one of those parents that have been in the inner circle that their journey fascinates me. And just this morning, I read a chat from Pastor saying, coach, all the things that the children have learned and all of that. And I'm also peeping from the masterpiece. Anu, we will sanction you. I don't understand what that means. But
Coach,
he said, I'm also
coach, I
checking
don't
and
use
peeping from them. Like,
earphone. I don't use earphone. So
he will not be listening to the thing.
That wakes me up every morning.
Thank you so
that
much
is
for
alarm.
being here. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. Please, if you're live, if you can see us, let's see your comments right in the comment section where we have been joined by the Akinolas to share with us on their intentional parenting journey. So this couple are my people. You know when you say your people, my people. So um and reviews, testimonials, everything. Pastor Wale will be there and all of that. But before we even get into the conversation of the day, I want to ask Anu, who got into the TIP? Who met the TIP? Was it you or was it Pastor?
Because I was the one that made the TIP first. So
Obviously.
yeah, I was we were actually at a stage in our life that TIP came. It came just like at the nick of time. When they say that your teachers will not be withdrawn to a corner, that's exactly
Mm,
what happened to us. So it was
mm,
the season that our children were going into a season, into their preteens and teen year, and I had a lot of expertise at their early years, and it was a stage that I was just really didn't know what to do. So, and I knew that knowledge was very important because of my earlier background. And one day
mm,
I was, and some things that happened at home, with our daughter, I saw some changes as in emotionally that I was wondering, I couldn't really place it. And one day I was just going on social media and I saw my friend post about you, Tony, Dr.
mm.
Tony Samuel. Immediately she posted, I didn't even continue to read the message she was saying. I just clicked on Wendy and I just knew that, this was what I really needed for the now. And so I started following and I read a bit, but we're so used to when we hear something, we share it immediately. And immediately I told him, I said, look, this is the answer we're looking for. And immediately, he just agreed that we do a couple, sign on, and that's where the journey. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So,
Mhm.
Pastor is not one of those people that you needed to use rope to
No,
drag.
no, no. I didn't need to use it. In fact, now sometimes he'll be the one to be reminding you. So,
So Pastor, share with us, how has the journey been so far? As a father who has been in the inner circle, this is going to 4 years, and you guys are very consistent. I want to know how you've been able to put all of that together, manage it, be here, be consistent. So I've not heard, hey, so we're now dying and we're now waiting, and it's been you just been here. What's been that thing that have kept you guys consistent on the journey till now?
Okay, so I think that so first of all, I say thank you for bringing me to your set. I count it a privilege. This is a very highly revered and highly exalted platform. It's not just any platform, and I consider it a privilege to be for us, myself and my wife, to be showcased. today. So there is something that you say again and again, and it is something that we also align with, and that is that we cannot be too busy to parent our children. Um, we cannot be too busy to parent our children, so we have to give it all it takes. To build, there is a process of the seed time, and then there is a process of watering. I understand the seed mentality and all that. So, but the only thing is just that you can have that, in your head. But what the Parenting Academy has done for us is to help us to bat that dream in our heart. We just knew that this is possible. We just knew that this was where we needed to go. Of course, we've been praying. We prayed before we got married. Prayed for our children, prayed for our homes, our home, and of course, when it comes to we have our area of strength. By the way, our area of strength was in the children. Honestly, the fact that I could stay with the kids, take care of them, it grew on me. Excuse me. It wasn't natural. I like my quietness. I want to stay in the room when they're shouting, and all that. But I've learned over the years also about TIP. It's part of the process. You don't have to. Something happens to your children. You think it's not something to be proud of. You are focused on that, focused on appearance rather than focusing on exactly what is happening. That is something that we have taken, that we've gotten from TIP. So I'm not. It's not parenting by fear. It's not. We see things. Things happen. Fortunately, my wife had she was the one that was in charge, and I learned from her. I understand, and that's one thing that also I can ask couples to do, especially men. Men can have big ego, but you need to understand where your area of strength is and take that area of strength and allow your spouse to also thrive in an area of strength. I knew that when it comes to children, early years, 0 to 5, and all that, she's an expert in that. She comes up with initiative, says it's important to bond with your children. Okay, I say yes, man. Then I take them, we go all out, go and play football, we do all that. We've done that at the very early years. But then by the time we're entering to preteen, the curriculum was changing.
It was meeting.
And we needed something more than what we've been doing. All these taking them out, they're going to be asking you. I mean, we built the foundation. The connection was there, access was there. They can ask me any question. They're not afraid of their daddy. They're not afraid of their mommy, and all that. And then, just at the time when we were needing that, TIP came in and came in for us. All the connection tools, all the daily connection tools. Understanding that parenting is actually not about the children, but it's about you. And then, I mean, you look at all the things that we're doing in the book review. It's not about the last one that we're doing. That book was interesting. Oh no.
It will
That book,
test you, sir.
that book, I read that book. I had to study that book because it was going to be a tough one. But and when you're doing that, it's not about the kids, it's about you understanding finances, understanding how finances work in the world and all that. What it does to you is that it puts you in a situation when you are now able to bear things, able to answer questions, able to train them in the way that they should go according to what the scripture says, and all that. And the Parenting Academy has given us those tools, distilled it into actionable tools, things that we can, pick up easily and just implement. And then when further down the line, you see results. And we've been seeing results. We're seeing results.
Amazing, amazing. It was in one of our reviews that Pastor Wale had shared that the son had gone to work somewhere and had forgotten spoon to eat. And then the young man calls and says, "Oh, they said, anyway, you need to find a way. However you want to do it, Sha. Nobody's going to come and rescue you." And from that day, the guy understood that okay, we're in for serious waka, like responsibility. So you guys are raising teenagers. You guys are in that place where I have teenagers. So of course I have an inkling of what it is that they can try you and try you
And
and all of that. And I know he's an early years expert. Oh, by the way, I know run to school in Lagos. For those of you who are constantly asking me, hey coach, which school should I take my children? Early years. Early years are so important.
yeah,
If you
so
get it right in the early years, and I'm sure that's part of the answer that I know is going to give me. If you get it right in the early years, the teenage years becomes a
yeah,
walkover.
yeah,
A
yeah.
lot of people ask me questions like, "Oh, coach, when should I start?
Mm,
My
mm,
children are,
mm.
my children are age 0. Oh, I've not reached." So, can you share with us what have been your struggles? I want, struggles, the struggles that you have had on your journey and how you've been able to overcome it using the tools that you're learning and maybe the books, whatever it is that is available for you. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, so I think my one of my major struggles is the fear. One of my major struggles was the fear of societal pressure. People's expectation of who your child should be. Number one,
Mm,
for me as an expert, as somebody that is helping other people to raise their own children, and then
mm,
also the fact that we're leaders. My husband is a pastor in the church. I'm also a leader in the church. And then that expectation of what do people expect your children to. I think one of the things, of course, you can struggle with that, oh, me, a coach myself, an early
mm-hmm,
years coach myself, and you know, my child is doing this. But I think one of the things that really helped me, of course, you can struggle with it, especially if you're a spiritual person. You have the Holy Spirit to guide you to say, no, all that's not who you are. That's not what the expectation should be. But I think the TIP really made it, very practical that, it's not really about, those things. And we saw it live and direct. And I think the TIP gave me the tools to be able to, sieve when my child makes a mistake. How do I handle that mistake? And about my own emotions. I think one of my greatest lessons from the TIP is emotional development.
mm,
Because the TIP has prepared you. It's not just making you to plan for the future. It's preparing you for that future. And you see a lot of things that coach will say that, if your child does this, what will you do? You internalize it, but until it comes, you don't really know what you are going to do. And I think that foundation really, prepared me. Is like when they are giving us all these tools, all these activities, it's like, eat, for the journey is far, because you are going to need that food, along the way. Recently my son, I was having a conversation with my children, and my son, suddenly became quiet. I knew there was something on his mind based on that conversation. Meanwhile, that conversation, I just started it on the spur of the moment, and we all were having that conversation. And then he became quiet. I noticed, and I said, do you have anything on your mind? He said yes, that he will discuss with me later. And between that span of 5 to 10 minutes, I was going to discuss with me later, my head had gone. I had thought 1001 things. What could this discussion be? And I remember coach voice in my mind that the fact that you have taught your children so many things doesn't mean they will not make mistakes. How will you react? So I quickly, started controlling myself to say, whatever the worst case scenario, I'm going to come out emotionally intelligent. But if I had not had that background, if I had not had that, I don't think that challenge would have been. So I was telling myself it's not about me. When he eventually shared with me, I was proud of myself the way I responded, even though it was something that I would have felt it was huge. You know, I was happy.
mm,
I don't think that you could even have that courage to share with me. And the way we resolved it, his own thinking process. The way as a family, I told my husband, the way we just resolved it, I knew that it was not just us. It's a training that has backed that process for us. It didn't just happen. You understand?
mm,
If we share with somebody maybe in the
mm,
future, they say, if I knew that what was happening at our home was a process that has been back, and
mm,
I felt successful, not because my son did
mm,
something that I was not
Right.
proud of it, but I was
Yes.
proud of
Yes.
that becoming that we have as
Mm,
a family,
mm,
you know. And I
mm,
think I'm not sure that I would have been able to we would have been able to discover that process on us by ourselves if we had not been prepared, you know, for that instance, you know. And I'm grateful for
mm,
TIP that it's really a deep curriculum, and I really see it as very spiritual, because I don't think any human being can really go deep and know know what's going to happen in the future and prepare you
mm,
for it as much as
mm,
God can. So yeah,
mm.
it's
Amazing. You know, you know that anytime that I'm listening to my intentional parenting journey, I'm constantly picking out, you know, things that, you know, are being said. Oh, by the way, I have my book. And I write, you know, things. And one of the things I have picked out this morning is the becoming of the process.
yeah.
So the testimony is not even just about the result. So the testimony
Mm-mm,
is not, oh, so my children have now become perfect. We have now
mm-mm,
arrived.
mm-mm,
The
mm-mm.
testimony is even in the things that my could have been blown out of proportion, we have been able to manage it
Yes,
even a lot more better just because we were prepared for the journey. That's amazing for me. You know, so Pastor Wale and I usually have some backyard corner gist, some from those backyard corner gist, you know, in my chat. And, you know, he was sharing with me on how the children have been able to, you know, do progress and all of that when it comes to being independent. So, Pastor, I'm sure that the first time you must have heard that your children should be going on the road on their own. You must have heard that your children, why are they? And you know, he wrote something. He said, "In my estate, it's only my children that actually go out on their own." And I know that feeling. I remember that the first time one of our neighbors saw our son going walking out of the gate to actually go and for a keke or a bike or something. It was a long walk. The woman just bounced and all brought him back to the house. We're like, we know that he's going, he's okay, it's fine. The woman said, no. What are you people talking about? What kind of parenting this thing is? The woman, in
And
fact,
then I know the code.
we were laughing. So I can imagine what that even, you know, means. So I want to share with you, how was that fears?
Yeah.
How did you overcome the fear? How is it that your children who are teenagers are able to travel on their own? How did you overcome the lion on the street?
Yeah. So, you know, what used to amaze me is that I wonder how, well, not so much of a wonder, but it's amazing how we have moved. Because I remember my growing up years as a teenager. I remember, I mean, thinking about it now, I realized that I belonged to a boys' brigade. We used to meet every Saturday, 6 p.m. And then it's part of an Anglican. I grew up with my parents and going to an Anglican church. And then I had friends too who were going to the same boys' brigade with me. So every Saturday, I think the twins, Daramola twins, will come start, you know, they will jog from their house to our house. We used to live in a GRA in Ibadan. And then we'll call one another. I think we'll end up being about maybe about 6, 7 or all of us. And then we'll go, it will take about 30 minutes to get to church, you know. And we could have taken the option of going by the bus, but we'll just go, you know, like that. And then we'll come back, you know, the teach chats, you know, the all boys, you know, it was fun. And I used to wonder that, hey, can you do that at this time? As in the kind of walk, it was almost like more than five, maybe 5 to 10 kilometers. I can't gauge it exactly. So I used to bother me that what are we doing? You know, So when we got into TIP and you mentioned things like you know, putting them on it. When you told the story about how you put the twins on the flights to, I think maybe it was to Owerri or something by flight. I was like, wow, hey, flight ticket. What happened? What if the flight is delayed? How will they resolve themselves and all that, But one thing you always say is that there is no lion on the street, though. There's no lion on the street, and we just did it afraid anyway. Did it. So courage is what we did. We did it afraid. We started by. How did we start? I think we started by sending the boy to the shop with a phone. Yes, and then the phone I can track his movements.
Yeah.
Then he will go, then he will come back. Then at some point he will say he wants to go quickly. He has a bicycle. He will ride a bicycle and come back. And there was one day, in fact, the day that I realized that, oh no, I finally conquered this fear was the day he said he needed something and said he has to go and get it from the shop. And I was very busy on the computer, and he came and he cannot get out of the gate if I don't call the gate. So he came back and said, Daddy, you didn't call the gate. I said, sorry, I called the gate. Then I continued doing what I was doing. Not quite 2-3 minutes after, he knocked and appeared with the stuff. He said, have you gone to the shop and come back? He said, yes, his bike was bad. He said he just went to one of the security guards. They had a bike. He borrowed his bike and rode to the place and came back, smartly. I felt very proud. I felt like I didn't even break a sweat, And now, of course, we also put them on the train. They did the train ride to grandparents, to their grandparents in Ibadan. That's my parents. I knew all kind of things that
people were hysterical.
People were hysterical for us. I think my mom too was always.
We didn't tell her that they were coming.
Yes. So the pressure would be too much.
Too much.
Would be too much. What are you doing? And all that. But we didn't tell her. We just got I think my sister-in-law to go and pick them at the train station. So she didn't know how they come, whether they came with somebody. She just knew they came by train. Somehow it never got to her to start asking details. Who was with them? Because she's very, she can prove. But that's it. We did it afraid, and then courage grew on us.
Now they even have the confidence.
And now they have the confidence to go. I mean, the other time, school starting. So this week they are doing online school, and then they took their jackets, all that to just dry clean. Took it to the dry cleaner, not far away. And then by 7, almost 6 p.m., they came to me and said, Daddy, we've forgotten to collect our things from there. I said, me, in this state that I am, I'm not driving anywhere. Call your mommy to call the laundry people, and then she can pay there remotely, and you guys can run there and go and get it. And they ran there and they came back with the items by themselves, the two of them. So I just that relaxation.
The travel skill.
Yeah, and also the fact that they are able to man the house, man the kitchen, take care of things. I don't have to break a sweat. I'm not really.
Food is ready by the time you're back.
When you're back, it just makes
makes it
life easy and things easier.
Those travel skills, I think, were one of the things that really, really falsified that independence for them. There are lots of things they've been doing before, but the fact that they can venture out on their own. I remember the first time he was going to go. My son was going to go and buy bread. Myself and my husband were waiting for the phone to ring. We're practically looking at the phone. I said, let's not call. When he needs help, we'll call. Both of us were just waiting. Has he come back? Is it, where do you think he will? It was like our heart was in our mouth that, would they blame you? But along the journey, we have to start asking ourselves, are we doing God's work or we're doing our own work? Let's do our work and let God do the work. I remember the first time they were going to go by train. They've gone like 2 times or 3 times now. Yeah. The first time, some of my friends said, you're not even afraid. And you're always doing very weird things. That this is not part of the things they expect I should be doing. And I asked them, I said, are you not heard of Boko Haram? They hijacked the train. They did that. I said, okay, so if I'm there now, they cannot hijack the train because their mommy is there. They will hijack all of us. So what does my being there, have to do with their protection? It has nothing. I can't protect myself. it means I can't even protect them.
Mm,
So, and they have the basic safety,
mm,
the safety skills. Sometimes we just do role play in the house. What will you do in this instance? Maybe I heard something outside. I'll just say, what will you
mhm,
do in this instance if you're stranded? And they come up with, very smart, brilliant ideas that even I wouldn't have thought of. So it has been a journey of even preparing them for safety, stranger, how to you identify the person to talk to. So they've been prepared for that journey. This was now the tests. How do you test if what you have been training them for works? And
for
they are excited about it. Sometimes they'll say, I know it's something our parents can do. When they hear that, somebody, okay, so I told them I traveled, that I saw two young girls on the flight, and they were trying to use a map, at the airport, trying to, it was a big airport, so they were trying to find out their gate. And so I was just teaching them the experience that, just seeing the girls, I knew, he said, we know it's something you can do. It's something you can do. So they are not surprised when we come up with, the next step to your freedom, like that, like we call it, as in, this is the next step, like our son always wants to drive, and we told you, no worries, immediately you are of age to get a driver's license in Nigeria, but before that you go and learn mechanic work. So he was angry, as he was very angry when we said you go to the mechanic workshop. He was really angry. The first day he was going to go there, I wanted to document, the journey in pictures. He said, please don't take my picture. he was really, he was really angry that day. But he came back the first day, he did share the experience. The next day he was now becoming a bit more excited. Anyway, to cut the long story short, I think like 2 weeks after he started going to the mechanic, it was not for a long period, but 2 weeks after, I woke up in the morning to a video that my husband had sent me, and I was on the early morning Saturday video, and I saw that my son was wheeling the car tire excitedly to the outside the gate, and I was wondering, what's happening here. So it was later I got the background info that something that never happened to us before. I don't think I've ever seen our tire come flat. Maybe it will not be in the house, but that morning my husband woke up and the tire was flat. See, this boy has been prepared for the test today. And he just called him. The boy
mm,
jumped on it excitedly, removed the tire, and he started wheeling it to the vulcanizer outside the estate gate, which was quite a distance. And the video was showing that he was excited about it. I was just proud. It was a proud mom moment that, this thing really works. You don't know when these skills will be needed, and
yeah.
not proud of himself. Something he was earlier angry about. He was proud of himself that he could provide the solution. He knew what to do, and that he
Mhm,
had skills, to be able to do it. So sometimes they are not happy, especially as teenagers. You bring some ideas, you explain to them, they still don't get it, and we still tell them, well,
mm,
you thank me all the same, and
mm.
the result is always that you'll come back to say, I now see the reason why I needed to do that.
Exactly, exactly. That was an awesome experience. So the Akinolas are very handsome with their children with practicality. That's one of the things I like about their journey. They are able to. So if I say the children are supposed to have been doing internship, and the next thing you hear, they
They
are
are
doing
doing
internship at the supermarket. As in the way they move, I'm like, okay. So the children have gone to work in a supermarket. So I think it was this same their son they made write an application for
Mhm.
an internship job, apply, go, wake up in the morning, carry food, go by his own. Nobody is, so some
Right.
of this, and that's the beautiful thing about the inner circle, is it is in all of this process. So recently, an inner circle parent was sharing with me, her daughter had gone for an interview for university, one of those
Mhm.
universities where you need to be interviewed to be in. And they were asking her, so what have you done? How have you,
Mhm.
she just came up and just said, I've worked with, some coaches, I've done peer mentoring. And she said, these are
Mhm.
things that I teach them at home to actually be able to do. People are doing stuff, and coach will say, let them volunteer, let them just go there,
Mhm.
just go and work. Say that's what this girl used. And
Yeah.
when she came out, she was feeling like this kind,
Mhm.
yeah, we're the ones that know what
Fly.
we're doing, kind of. So there's a pride that comes with children actually being able to do things, and that's where confidence is built. That's when confidence is built. I remember when Arson went to go and learn how to bend iron. Iron bending experience, amazing experience. So when we say those things, people will say, "Is that what you want the child to become?" No, we are
Uh-huh.
not. That's not
It's
about. It's
not.
not about becoming. It's the journey. It's the process. It's the things that the children will need to learn as they are going. And one of the things that I love about the inner circle is the practicality that it offers, even to me. All right, the practicality that it offers to every single person. My parents have been around and they've watched our daughter cook day in, day out. My father called me and said to me, "I don't understand. This
Mm,
girl actually cooks everything and she does it so seamlessly." I said, "Daddy, this girl has cooked for almost how many
mm,
years now? The girl is a guru." My father said, "I
mm,
am like,
mm,
wow, this girl churns out all sorts from the kitchen." I said, "It's just practice. She has just
mm.
practiced it while
Yeah.
and it's just become part of her." So tell me, these are senior yadas. Yadas in the house. Are you in the comment section? You guys should be dobale, at this time. I'm talking about senior yadas. I'm not talking about, yeah, these are yadas in their right. That kind of thing. Yes. So in the comment section, I want you to,
Mm,
send the fire emojis for this couple. Like I shared earlier, they are one of the couples that have been consistent. It's not, "Oh, we have come today, so tomorrow, hey, I know my work has taken a new shape, I want to drop small and then I will come back again. Hey, I want to now come back tomorrow." That's not the kind
mm,
of thing I'm talking about. I mean consistently being on this job. Believe you me, when I talk about consistency, I know what it takes to be consistent.
mm,
So if there is anybody who can commend someone on consistency, I have earned the right.
mm,
So this is me saying shout out to the Akinolas for consistency. So it's not in the "I have started, I have stopped, I'm coming, I am going." They understand the assignment. The assignment is in the continuity. The assignment is in the consistency. And hey, I see yadas. I love this yada. I see the fire. You guys are too much. All right. So share with me. Should I say the best book you've read in the inner circle? Would that
mm,
make sense, Pastor?
mm.
Pastor will not tell me that it's a book we read last month.
The best book.
Hmm.
What should I share?
That book that you read that was
Mm,
like, this is it.
So, so it has to be the last book, and I'm trying to get.
I said it.
Yes, I'm trying to get the title. Interestingly, I can't
The psychology of
remember.
money.
Psychology of
Yes, the
money.
psychology of money. So, on my group,
Mm,
of course, we had the soft copy, and we worked with the soft copy, and then I saw the hard copy. If you see the front page where they had the picture of the brain, I picked out the book from a mile. I just waved to the guy. I don't buy for some really strange reasons. I don't know why I feel like the guys that are selling book that there's something around the either the book is the quality is not good or something. So I don't buy
Hmm.
books except maybe I find one that I've been looking for. Then I'm forced to take
Hmm.
it. Whatever it is, it's about the content anyway. So I bought the book. But that book is great. Number one, that book is tasking to read. If
Yes.
you are not a very hard, disciplined reader, you will not be. It's not a
You
book you
would
can
not.
just gloss over. It's a book
Mm-mm.
that you need to read systematically, make sure that you get an understanding. And it's also a book that challenges your your philosophy, you know, challenges your philosophy. It's a book that is essentially saying you cannot use history to judge the future
mm,
because things
That's it.
change.
mm,
Because things change. What could have
Hmm.
prepared America for 9/11? No, there was no precedence of anything that has happened like that
Nothing. Yeah.
before. So what happens is that the way that we are wired is that we use history. So America now has done a lot of things because of 9/11, which means if anything like 9/11 wants to happen, they can take care of it.
Hmm.
But history has consistently shown us that something will happen again and again and again that will not be in alignment with what has happened in history, and then took it to the area of finances. See, what I like about the book was that it made me to also start thinking deeply also parenting, about parenting. Of course, the book was talking about money. The book was talking about, and the takeaway from me. Let me just talk about the takeaway because I think that is something that we has. I remember when we were um, dating, about ready, trying to pick a wife and all that. We go for singles events, and then they kept talking to us about finances. That your finances is important. I think what my pastor used to say now is that it takes finance to run romance. So it's not just about romance,
Now
romance.
so.
If your romance does not have finance, it will come to annoyance somewhere along the line. you know
That's a good one.
you know but it also to raise kids, there's a lot involved.
Yeah.
You need that financial stability, and what that book is saying is about having layers upon layers of security. The biggest takeaway from that book for me is about the fact that is when you're saving is not just about for the rainy day.
Mm.
Saving, just saving, it's just like breathing, it's just like anything, it's
Mm-hmm.
part of life. You must save, you must have that
Mm-hmm.
stash there. What you do with it is a different thing, but the basic number one thing that everybody must do is to have a culture of saving. Or the idea that we always have about savings, that I'm saving towards a house, or I'm saving to buy a car, or I'm saving towards the kids, whatever. Saving is just saving. It's just something that must be part of you. Why? Because when the unexpected, and the unexpected will always happen.
Happen.
When it happens, you have a layer upon layer of shock to be able to take that thing, and you continue as if nothing happened. That's the takeaway. That's the takeaway from that book for me. And it's amazing. You think, what has this got to do with parenting? But like you said, parenting is not about the children, it's about us, the parents. That's why it's called
Mm-hmm.
parenting. It's about the parents,
Mm-hmm.
not about the kids.
Coach, I have to talk on this one. My own best
Please.
book is from level one. Eh? And
Mm.
I've borrowed people that book. I've bought so many copies of that book. I can't count it again.
What is that?
Is your book Connect to Correct?
Yeah, I like
I've
Mm.
that.
done review. I have a school. So when I joined the inner circle, I also take some of those things and we use it at the school. So when we started book
Yeah.
review at the inner circle, we also started book review. So if you are a parent at our school, you will change. You have no
Mm.
choice. Change. So we also started reviewing books. And so I will make them buy at the beginning of the term, we choose a book we're reviewing, and everybody buys the book. So I bought many copies of Connect to Correct. I made everybody review the book. Anybody that comes to meet me for, oh, my son, I have this issue, I'll say, go and buy this book. Go and read this book. I think that for me, it was like, that book was like, it validated a lot of things that I did that I didn't really, could not hold on to say, this is where I found it. And then I
Yes.
find a book that gives me that textbook reference. Okay, go and check this book. What I said is there.
Mm.
So for me, it
Mm.
was really a textbook that I could always refer people to say, if you are having this problem, read this book and then let's have this discussion after.
Mm.
So for me, it's always a go-to book that I can recommend anytime. And we read it at the beginning of joining the inner circle. But I will never
Yeah.
forget that Connect to Correct. Anywhere I talk, I will always refer, to Connect to Correct, and some of the things that were written in that book. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that's, yeah.
yes, I agree. I agree with you. I agree with you. It's just that me when I
Of course, it was
Although
your
that this
first
morning,
experience.
not
And
yes, I always
I,
yeah,
remember.
I, I bear it,
Yes.
Master.
But that book is profound.
yeah, it
Like you
is.
said, it just helped us to um could it articulated the things that we've done
Yeah.
that we did not know, and we're reaping the benefits now, because you see that connection is important.
Yes.
I received an email yesterday from my son. Do you know
Mm.
about it?
No.
You don't know about it?
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to tell you yesterday, but I'll just read it so that you understand. It says, "Dear Daddy, I wanted to take a moment to express my deepest appreciation for everything you've done for me throughout my
Oh,
life.
can you imagine?
Your unwavering love, support, and guidance have been a constant source of strength and inspiration, and I'm truly grateful to have you as my father. Love,
Uh-uh.
Kadi.
Oh,
So
so
I received
sweet.
that working in the
Wow.
office, I received,
Oh,
and the
Uh,
truth is, I love football. The love of football has also grown in him. We talk about football, we play football together. My daughter, that openness is just there.
yes.
All the issues that happen, things that he himself came and then mentioned that he's done something he's not proud of, blah 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 blah. Well, anyway, it's a balance of both being, observant and also being spiritual, because a
Yeah.
couple of things that we just ask a question and then we say something happened, then open up.
Mm.
But a lot of kids, no matter even how spiritual you are,
Mm.
you can pick out things,
And they know.
but it is not that your spirituality that will make them to open their mouth and
Mm.
speak to you.
it.
It is the
That's it.
connection that you've
Mm.
had.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that
That's
book
it.
is the foundation.
It's
If
the
you don't have
foundation.
it,
Go
you
and
don't
get
get the
it.
truth of what is in that book.
Mm-mm.
You cannot build.
You can't build.
You can't build on anything.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's why you can discern things,
Yeah.
but you will not now get to the place where you will now be able on it. That's a takeaway from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So discerning things is not enough.
Mm-mm. It's not.
The spiritual skill is working,
Yeah.
but the ability to now translate what you have discerned
Mm.
to practicality. Hey, pastor. All right. Listen to that letter that was read.
Mhm.
Oh, I mean,
No.
I feel like I,
Me too, I'm jealous. So.
Yeah.
I know, yes, I don't tell us for
I'm jealous.
I don't tell us a note to or my son is writing a note to their father. Anytime they're in school, if they put your name there, mom. I said, Mom, I'm like, what is it?
Oh my
it
goodness.
just it just shows you how this is not a walk in the park. Oh.
No, no.
How much of work the Akinolas have done.
Mm.
Each son connect to you at that level.
Yeah.
I want to say bravo. Well done.
Okay. Okay.
I am even I'm just saying, in fact, this letter that I just it's as if we should frame the letter and put it somewhere.
I'm
In
telling you. Absolutely.
some pastor, sometimes you're walking, you don't bring out the thing and just look
I'm
at it.
telling you, that enough, yeah. That's enough.
And this is making sense. So the Akinolas have shared the best books for them in the academy. Pastor said his was the psychology of money. No, it's not a book, it's strong meat. You
Strong
don't chew
meat.
it.
It's strong meat.
For one, you just hear the hey, oh, the kind of books you read at, at the other levels will need you to study, be awake with pen and paper. And Danu says the best book for her have been Connect to Correct, which is a book, a compulsory read for us in year one. When you read Connect to Correct, I love that it's the first book that
Mm.
it just there's a reality jot, out in you. You're like, okay, what's
Mm.
happening?
What's happening here?
Where
Yeah.
have I been? So, and that's the foundation. That's the foundation. That's the true foundation of being a can connect. There's no conversation. That conversation, doesn't happen. The webinars. I know that the Akinolas have listened to plenty webinars. It's been many ask which of the webinars. Okay, so let me first of all ask: has it been this? Listen to it again, and you're wondering, but I've done this. I don't need to do it again.
Mm.
Or is it like anytime you're in there, you're like, was I here? Hear it. I don't understand what's happening. And which is that webinar that have has done a lot for you. as a family, as a couple, as on your parenting journey, on your work life, whichever it is. Over to you, Pastor Sir.
It's over to you. So you see, yeah, yeah, the one on the seat now.
Uh, I think it's got to be um, so it's got to be the one that about I think I remember the title now. Maybe getting the back to school, the
Okay.
back to school.
Master classes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and it was because of so uh, it was because it was novel. I've never seen back to
Okay.
school like that before. The fact that we had to we there's a spiritual preparation, setting goals. Um, we also involved people to. I mean, that idea that you can also bring in people to help my boy with personal hygiene, girl also with personal,
Hmm.
and then we took certain of the classes. That entire every time I have to always listen to that. Of course, well, I have always known you can. I mean, it's something that we tell people in church. If you listen to a message, it's not. The Bible says faith comes by
Yeah.
hearing and hearing again and again and again and again. That's how faith comes. So, if you think that you listen to this webinar, and then if it's that title, I've been there before. I don't need to
Mm.
go there again. No, you are doing yourself a disservice. Even the
Hmm.
very same one that you've listened before, if you go back to
Hmm.
the recording and you go over it again and again, if you go over it 10 times, you will discover something new. If your yeah, your that meekness is there for me to always look for something to learn. You always find something new and new to learn. So the back to school series, back to school webinar is easy for me because it was novel. Because the kind of things that we had to address there is not things that we mentioned that there were things like in the connect to correct. There are things that we've done that was
Hmm.
just eating now. Oh, okay, no,
Hmm.
I did it. We didn't know why we did it. We just
Yes.
knew we did it and it worked for us. But there were things where you're hearing things that like, man, I wasn't even thinking of this. So, what's this
Hmm.
about? And you try to, to delve into it, and we got into it. So, for me, it will be that. I don't know if you have any other.
Well,
Amazing. Yes,
um,
I know.
I think um, mine will be the series on honor as a skill and
Hmm.
peace as a skill. I think those two, because that I've seen honor. I go to a church that honor is something that we take.
Yeah.
We practice, we teach, but bringing it into the home, trying to practicalize it, even for me, internalizing what it really means is something. And then that piece as a skill, I listen to it again and and the practicality of it, it comes, you will just realize that it's something that you need. It's not something that you expect to come. It's a
Hmm.
skill that must be developed. So at every instance, I'm remembering that webinar, that it is a skill. You are developing that skill. It's not something that you will just have, and for me, those two things,
Hmm.
because it's like I said, my emotional intelligence journey, I used to think that I was emotionally intelligent until I started hearing some things in the inner circle, or even attended the inner circle, course on emotional intelligence. And I realized that I still have a long journey, and that every year is a course that I must take, irrespective of where I am on that journey, because there's still a process. I'm still on
Hmm.
that journey. I'm a
Hmm.
work in progress. So
Hmm.
for me, that piece as a skill is, and like I shared in the first instance about, something happened recently, and I saw did something, and I could use that to say no, no. I realized that I've moved up in that journey, that really
Hmm.
you can have peace. It's not because it's a skill that you have developed. You know how to come about that place of being at rest, knowing that nothing will happen. It's just part of the process. So I
Mm.
think that those two webinars, you know, back to back, were something that I will never forget. Yes, and of course
Awesome.
the travel skills, that one we've practicalized it back to back. You
Yeah.
know,
I
it's a
think
wonder that
travel
that
that
webinar,
travel skill. Yes, in fact, I think another parent has also shared on it
that
and said,
that
I
travel skill
heard that
webinar.
webinar and I was feeling like, what happened to
Yes,
me?
I tell you, so back to back, you just be thinking that these children. And then maybe I should even mention, I think the first webinar when we got to year three, because me and my husband, I can't remember, you might not remember now, that we sat down and we dissected it, as in we have a group that both of us are for this journey. We
Mhm.
dissected that webinar. It was that place that we were talking about us setting our transition goals.
Oh,
Yes,
Hmm.
and that one really
yeah,
this year is something that has transformed our journey. As in that transition goals, we
Yeah.
sat down. Why are we doing this? What are the skills? I remember that it took us weeks. We were going back to coach. We said we just finished our assignment. We drew the as in it helped us to be able to really think, not just listen. To now
Yes.
think, because it was now work. We drew a master plan of what would they need in these years. Then we started breaking it down. What would they do? So for it helped us. A lot of people will ask us, how are you doing those things? We said it's part of the plan. I remember that
Hmm.
one of the spiritual goals was to attend like an academy in our church. We got his buy-in. People were wondering, how do you think of those things? It was because that particular first goal setting
yeah,
webinar,
yeah.
just helped us to, it was work, coach. In fact,
Work.
it was work.
So
Through the
so
night, it was
so so
work.
there are
But
some that is like an Excel sheet, and there are some that I would think I was not able to we are not able to put in what it is,
we
break
need
it
to do.
down. Just so we don't waste time, we jump it. Then I will find myself throughout the day. That thing I'll just put it in my head.
Mm.
As I'm working, I'm thinking of it, I'm still thinking of it. And honestly, eventually, of course, we will crack it. I'll have an idea. I'll share with her. Then, sometimes it's just one word. Once we mention one word, she also
That's it.
remembers something, and
The
then we just
main
pull up, and then
thing.
we have.
Yeah.
And then I realized that this is really when we say that you are not too busy to
Mm.
parent your children. This is what's about.
That's it.
You know, Even during the day, I mean, I went to a Bible reading challenge some time ago, and it was there that they made me to realize that we have a lot more time on our hands than we
Mhm.
think we do. When
Mm.
you say
Mm.
you're busy, and then
Mm.
they will explain that you have down times. In fact, they will calculate for you. In
Mm.
fact, when you go to the toilet to go and do your business in the
Mm.
toilet, why are you wasting it? Go there with your phone or
Mm.
go there with your Bible or
Mm.
whatever. If it's just 6 verses that you read, you've read the six
Mm.
verse for that day, and then you continue and all that. So it's just that mindfulness, knowing
Yeah.
that there is no all the downtime are free times that you can
Mm.
use to think strategically and position yourself for
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. The downtimes. And to also say this, Pastor Wale is an engineer and had a job. So for those of you who will think
Mhm.
they are doing it because they are not really
We have
busy.
time.
Some people are in the comments that they are thinking, I'm sure that the man is maybe he just owns one church and he's not busy.
Mm.
No, he works.
Mm.
He's an engineer, so that you understand that. I actually think that the busy fathers are the more efficient ones.
Yeah.
I don't know how come.
Mhm.
Honestly, the busy people, especially the fathers in the academy, are actually very efficient. Maybe because they understand that they are busy. You
Mm.
get so they understand that. See, Omo, I don't have any time to come a while away. Let me use it. We have military fathers in the academy, and one of them is actually on assignment outside of Nigeria as we speak. His parenting game wows me. He,
Mm.
he said to me, Coach, I wish I can come and share, but I can't share because I'm on assignment. His parenting game wows me for someone who is on assignment in the battlefield. Let's not even go there.
Mm.
So I think that many of the times the fathers who are busy, even the mothers, are the ones who up their game because we are cuckoo know that nobody is
Mm.
coming to save us or
Ah.
nobody is going to come and remove time for us. I don't
Mm,
run the school. I don't know what could be busier than that.
mm,
I knew is in the masterpiece, and the masterpiece is quite tasking. It's going to get
mm.
even more tasking. She
I
understands what
can imagine.
she understands what I mean. But it is in that. That's actually how you journey through. I think that in the Bible, I didn't see anybody who was idle that God
Mm,
used.
mm,
All of them were busy.
Yeah.
Even Paul the apostle was one
mm.
of the busiest people
Yes.
before God could use him.
You know, the Bible says that he that is faithful in little, more will be
Mm,
committed to his hands. So as you
That's it.
get, he commits that into your hands, you get faithful in it. He
mm,
commits more into your hands, you get faithful. He
Yes,
commits more to your
that,
hands. You know.
that's it. And this has really been an inspiring journey. But I would like to the both of you to share with me how you manage your busy life, to be able to incorporate your journey, tips, hacks that you can share. You have shared one. Having a group I remember when I shared that my husband and I run a group exclusive for just both of us. We
mm.
share parenting plan inside. We share. In fact, there's nothing that is not in that. If that group gets lost, we share. There's nothing we don't share there. Sometimes I'm like, so this curriculum, can we break it down? Because
Mm.
really, sometimes you might not really be able to really sit down and
Yes.
talk for long.
Yes. It's
So,
on
so
the
how
go.
can you be able to, incorporate that? And also, how has working together as a team
Mm.
actually been different for you?
Mm.
Let me quickly talk about the team. We have very different temperaments, very different. Um, I am on the extrovert side. My husband is on the introvert side. So, like coach will say that nothing is an emergency. Me, I feel everything, everything must be done instantly, and that there's always fire on the mountain. But my husband, but thank God for the inner circle. Oh. There is no temperament that cannot be controlled,
Mm,
that cannot be managed. So don't think
yes,
that you are this person and you
that's
forever be
who I
this person. Yes, that's who I am. Eventually, your temperament's strength will play out when it's needed, but also it can also be a weakness, and you must be aware of it. So I think that one of the things that really helped us as really as a tag team is for both of us to identify our strengths and our weaknesses, and let each person individually play in that realm. I thank God
am.
that he understands that there are some immediate actions that I need to take, and he won't query that I need to take. But there are some that he will insist that, of course, it will be eating me in my body. That
Mm-hmm.
why is it taking so long? But with experience, I've realized that really there's no fire on the mountain. So I
Mm,
think having one focus, knowing that we might not agree on everything, but we're a team.
mm,
Yeah, we might not agree on everything, but that we're a team. So we must always, check in and let that focus. What is our aim? Be there. That communication also is one of the things, that so look for ways to always communicate, like so like that team, that group is a good way, you know to communicate. Sometimes we forget that we even have a group, and then we chat each other. You just put something there, I know that it's for discussion, maybe it's at work, and then we just put a picture and they say we'll talk about, just for us to always be, on a line. And like our own pastor always says something, me but he says that it takes two wings to fly,
mm,
like yeah, it takes two wings to fly. You might be a single parent or a single mother, and God will use what you have. But it's not that you don't have a husband or you don't
yeah,
have a wife. The two are better than one.
that
That's
one.
just the truth.
Always.
So always, so you always have to just align and know that if both of you are in disagreement, you're not going to achieve anything. And we've seen it in our lives that anytime we realize that, that we're arguing or bickering, we'll just pause. Is that either me or my husband will just pause and say, something is about to happen. The devil knows that there's a breakthrough. And immediately we align, we just see that thing comes and we say, this is what we'll have missed if we had
Mm,
continued in that bickering or argument or in that state of malice or whatever. So, but we're fortunate that we're quick to be able to realize that this is what the devil, this is what this circumstance is about. It's always about something. He wants to take
mm,
something, especially if you're
mm,
a team. You will want that disunity, so that because there's something just at the end of that tunnel, that light that will just have been
mm,
stolen from you. So, working as a team is very, very important in our parenting journey. And especially when you are raising children, you don't want to be a lone worker. Your children will see it, they will decipher it. And if you are raising teenagers, they will play on you. So, but if they know that, if you go to mommy, it's the same language. If you go to daddy, it's the
It's the
same
same
language.
thing.
They just.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is also about prioritization. So,
Mm.
and it is something that I had to be practical, that I've done practically in the last couple of months. So, just to give you an idea, I work, you know, and the work is quite tasking. In fact, just to give you an idea, I've been to 32 states in Nigeria. Nigeria has 36. I've been to 32 states and Abuja. Only 4 states I've not been to. And there's a possibility that I will touch all those states. And the only thing that takes me around is my work. And that's one. Two, I volunteer. I'm a volunteer pastor. I'm not a full time, like volunteer, and I'm very big on the administrative side of things, not preaching. So if you come, you may not be say, you've been calling Pastor Wale, we don't see him preach. But I'm big on the administrative side of things, how service runs, all that, calling head of teams, resolving issues and all that, which is very tasking. The preaching part is tasking, but what you do is you stay alone, you prepare and you go and preach. But there are a lot of things Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, they keep coming at you. Um, I'm in the executive in my alumni set. I was in my alumni set. I was an executive in the, not just an executive, the treasurer. So anything that has to do with money resolving, and also they used to call me double treasurer because I was also treasurer of the cooperative society. There are a couple of many other things, that I do. I'm the firstborn of 6 boys. You can imagine
Oh.
what that, with that responsibility. So there are times, and of course, there's the kids, the home to take care of, other things to do, friends to also care of. And then I realized um, that when I finish the first term of those tenure, that I'm not going to renew this because I have to pick what is priority. I cannot say I'm not working again, and I prioritized my um, role as a pastor. So I had to drop my executive role in my alumni set, and I dropped my executive role in the cooperative society of my um, secondary school group two. So sometimes we have to be that practical. It was getting too much. In fact, I still have deliverables to them that the new executive are still chasing me, and I'm not. It's not because of any reason. It's just because I had other personal issues that I'm dealing with at the moment. But it's just about identify what is important and prioritizing it. You know, it's not everything that you have to do. But what I believe is that the 24 hours that we have in a day is enough for us to do what we have to do. When it
Mm.
looks like it's enough, you have extra baggage.
Yes, then also
Mm.
recognize the season you are in. Recognize the season you are in. It's different from another person's season.
Yeah.
And if in this particular season, this thing is acceptable, in another season might not be acceptable for you.
Yeah.
So what season are your children? What do they need? Recognize that and use that to plan your time.
Mm.
And put is whatever you put in priority that you have the time for. You understand? So prioritize that. And I think one of the things that everyone should prioritize is the time they spend with their children. I
Mm.
always tell myself that I want to be a house, as in I want to be full of my children's memory, as in I want to be a storehouse of their memories. Do
Mm.
you understand? What kind of memories do you want it to be? It's going to uh that determines the time I spend with my children.
That's
So
it.
I want to be a storehouse of my child's special moments, their memories. So it means that I'm going to be very intentional about the time, the moments that we create, the connective moments, because that's what for my this season of my life, I want to be a store. I want to help them to have those beautiful memories that they will live
Mm.
on. You understand? So it's going to be a focus. I'm going to put a majority of my time doing that. So you just decide what do you want to do in this season of your life
Season.
and latch onto it. like coach taught us something in Masterpiece. Be a slave, you know, be a slave to your calling. In what season are you? Put everything you have, because the time cometh when no man can walk. So
That's
there's going
it.
to be a time that you will not be able to do this anymore.
That's it.
But you'll be living to regret it, or you'll be
Mm,
living fulfilled of doing it.
mm,
So just choose. If you know that you won't regret it, oh well and good. But if you
mm,
know that in the last time, this is what kind of memories I want to have, this kind of memories I want my children to have, then give yourself fully to it.
mm,
Fully committed. Be a slave of that process, and you
mm.
will see the results. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I love what Pastor said. Said if 24 hours is not enough, you have extra baggage. That's a good one. You have extra baggage. You have things you do not need. In one of our devotionals in Masterpiece, I talked about letting the baggage go. You need to, as you're walking, if you carry extra
You
baggage,
share the weight. You
in
share the
fact,
weight.
you are going to always, if you're always, hey, I don't have time, I cannot join class, hey, I can't join
Mhm.
TRT because of time, you have extra baggage.
You have extra
Your
baggage.
problem is not the 24 hours,
Yes.
you have extra baggage. And you need to understand the place of prioritization, essentialism, like we call it in English.
Essentialism. Yes. Yes.
What is essential in my journey now? I am very, when Pastor was saying, a lot of things that I can relate. I am the extrovert, my husband is the introvert in my home. And I am the one that adds, a lot of caps that I wear as well. Secondary school
Mm.
and university, and all of that. And at some point, I realized that in the time where I am right now on my
Mm.
journey, some things can play. It's not
Yes.
pride, it's just that it's not essential for my journey at that point. And I needed to shed the weight so that 24 hours will be enough. You don't hear me saying,
Mm.
say, there is no time. 24 hours is
Mm.
not enough. It's enough. 24 hours, perfectly enough, for everything that's important in it. And then the last point is, if you understand that this is what you want to give, prioritize spending time, because Anu said she wants to be there to spend time so that in the memory of her children, she will be in it. Not tomorrow, we're running kitty kitty,
Mm.
kata kata. No, there's no need.
Mm.
And like I often say, we're slaves to something. You need to decide
Yeah.
what you're slave to. All of us are slaves. We are slaves
Yes.
to something. But you need to continue to question yourself. Am I a slave to my job? A slave to people?
Mm.
What am I a slave to? Is it your calling?
So,
Is it your being a parent? It depends on what it is that you are prioritizing per time. Thank you so much to the Akinolas. This has been an amazing time. The Akinolas are like, I just say, so you need to, they just come as in like, oh my goodness. You guys know that I love you. You guys know that I
I
honor
love
you.
you too,
Thank you
Coach.
for
Thank
being
you
here.
very much, Coach.
Thank you so much for honoring to be here to share. I haven't spoken, so everything you heard here is the Akinolas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing to a few of their, testimonials, but everything you've heard is their story. I don't call and say, so when you come, this is how you're going to share your story. Like, all of them, not even writing, right? Because most of
Mm.
the that is coming out is coming to me. When Pastor was talking about the back to school strategy, it was a strategy
Mm.
we something years ago, what you should do with your children back to school. And it even for me, it was a new gray area for me at that time. And we started to do it. And today back to school. My friends' children look forward to back to school because it's like a thing. It's become a thing. It's become like a paparazzi. People
Mm.
come forward and they are waiting. When it's back to school, I'm like, what's wrong with this one?
Mm.
Amazing sharing this moment with you. 1 hour of your time is something I do not take for granted in any way. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And, sir, what will be your word to fathers listening to us this morning?
Hmm. What I want fathers to know is that their role is more important than they think. Um, as a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, um, if single, you know, the interesting thing is that when you look at single parenting, you have more. I don't have the data, but I'm sure that we have more uh, women single parents than we have more male single parents. But the truth is that the odds are against um, women single parents more than it is for men or male single parents. Not that male single parents don't also have the issue, because there are things that, I mean, like she said, my wife mentioned earlier on, it takes two wings to fly. But there are more serious issues. Um, there are certain things your daughter will never understand unless there is a male figure in her
That's
life
it.
at some
That's it.
very critical role in their life.
Yes.
There are also certain things your son will not get unless there is
Yes.
a male strong figure in their life at that point in time. It's not about it's just what it is. So
Mm.
the position and the effect of the male figure of the father is very important. I
Mm.
will let fathers know that this is very, very important role that they need to. And there is in how to. We have in TIP here, and how to. If I think one of the challenges with a lot of men is that what do I want to do? They don't know what to do. So don't worry. There's somebody who knows what
What
to
to
do
do?
and who has already put something in place. All you need to do is just implement, and
Mm.
you are like a pro. You just do it like a pro. Whether it was your idea, whether it was somebody else's idea,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter. Second thing I want to say is that men should learn how to manage their ego. You didn't put the ego on you. You just found out
Mm-hmm.
that you have the ego. So I'm not demonizing men for having ego, but don't allow your ego to get the best of you. There are times when you have to have that listening ear. Women are all over the place. They will come up with ideas. They will see things I've had. They just listen, you know, and pick out things. Be objective. Don't be emotional about
Mm-hmm.
everything. Don't let your ego stand in the way. Because you are actually going to need that also in parenting your children. There are
Mm-hmm.
times when you do things and you have to apologize, even to your child.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are times when you have to have to be there for your daughter. There are times when you need to show your vulnerability too, so that they understand that uh, daddy doesn't have it all. He doesn't have it all figured out, and it's the way life is. So that will be my message to the fathers, to the men this morning, to be there, to understand their role in the home as extremely, extremely important. Extremely important. I wish that there's a stronger word I can use. Very important.
Mm.
And not just think that I just go all out there, go and make the money. My wife mans the home. You know, in your twilight, the interesting thing. What I've realized is that when men don't get this part, you know, figured out and sorted out properly, in their later years they will suffer. Even
Mm.
even the men, children have a way of just forgiving their mother anyhow. They just
Mm-hmm.
forgive her, and then and the man is what they will not forgive the man. I have, I have, I don't have the statistics, but within my
Mm.
circle, when I ask people that are not talking to their fathers, they're not in good relationship with their father, whatever, plenty of them, but with their mothers,
Mm.
is it that when they're growing up, it's only fathers that were
The
not
mother
doing
didn't
it?
do anything.
No, but they just have a way of just figuring it out. And I think that what happened is that in their assessment, they've realized that wow, this man had the key to certain things that is missing in my life, and it was not there.
Mm.
It was not there. So
Mm.
if you don't want to be alone in your twilight years,
Mm.
sow the seed now.
Mm.
And that's
Mm.
my words to fathers.
Amazing. If you do not want to be alone in your twilight years, show the seats now. Anu, over to you. Last words.
My last word will be look, I always say something that you cannot be on this journey alone. In sincere truth, it takes a village to raise a child. And I think the TIP has shown us in practical ways that this journey, you can, my children, my girl is in the girls' hall, my son is in the boys' academy, and we're intentional in our parenting journey, but we know that we are not enough. So I want you to know that you can't do it by yourself. Don't think that, oh, I have what it takes. You will realize that you will get to a point that you need many teachers, and may your teachers not be withdrawn to a corner. I'll just advise you, if you're watching here and you're still thinking maybe I should join the inner circle, what would they be doing there? I tell you, we always use this slang by one of us that is not a spa. You will work, but I tell you that that work will pay off.
Yeah.
You'll be glad by the results of the work
Absolutely.
for your life and then for your children. You will realize that even your life, a lot of decisions I've taken professionally, not even parenting, professionally, has stemmed off from a lot of things that I've gained from the inner circle. We're not here to play. Oh. We're here to change the world. We're here to change.
Thank you so much. I know we're not here to play, we're here to change the world. Those parting words by you, Pastor Wale, was very deep. And I'm sure that any father who has
Mm,
listened to those, we do not need to say
mm,
one more words. It says, say no more. All
mm,
right. And I'm sure that a word is enough for the wise, like they say it. Thank you again for coming live with me at the shortest of the shortest prompt ever. When the team said, "Oh, we just started sending this," and I was like, "Oh, come on, guys."
mm,
Thank you
mm,
so much for being here. Thank you for raising the kind of generation that we want to see. Thank you for preserving God's seeds. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here. Shout out to you. Let's in the comment section, please shout out to the Akinolas, the
mm,
consistent couple in the
mm,
inner circle. And it's not easy. If you do 4 years consistently following like this, come for an award. If you're there,
We are not
try.
graduating. I hope there's a next level.
In fact, come for an hour. By the time you do the 4th year, you are there. Consistent. It's not that tomorrow you were there, next tomorrow you did it. I now dropped my round. We're talking about the consistency to the back to back. I mean, when there is book review, you are there. When a book is announced, you're buying, you're reading. It's not that they said, "Oh, I'm tired." All these books that we've been reading since, oh, it's not by like that. All right, so you go to the comment section and do a shout out to the Akinolas for being here today and for being a good inspiration to many of us to also follow. We had 122 people watching this morning. Wow, that is amazing. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
I love you. Thank you. We're
Love
going to
you.
release you to go so that we can also come back to the back to school master class that is happening today at 10. Thank you so much. And my love to the kids. Alrighty. So you had it yourself. You were here by yourself. Testimony shared, delivered by Yadas themselves, not me. All right. Pastor Wale and Mrs. Anu Akinola, who also run to school in Lagos State. All right. You're talking about schools. Yadas run one of the best schools ever. Quote me anywhere. I can take the bullet for them. When there is something in their school and somebody comes to me, if I just go and drag them well. And they're like, "No, coach, it's not like that." Yes, I have that, I have that Abido shaker. Yes, yes, you got it. You got it. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Don't forget that the Inner Circle program is a 1 year program. They are sharing for being in the Inner Circle program for the past almost 4 years. No be beans, yeah, no be spa. It is real work that this couple have done. And this is just a tip of what it is that they've been able to share from their journey. All right. So book a slot today. A slot is 5,000 naira. Your fee for a single fee is 100,000. I know that it takes 2 wings to fly, but do not wait until the 2 wings are there. If the 1 wing is still on the floor, join alone while you begin to talk to your spouse to join in. If your spouse hears like Pastor Wale hears and just follows like he followed, beautiful. If he can't, please take it one step at a time. All right. A couple fee is 170,000 naira per year. The single fee is 100,000 naira per year. 100,000 naira divided by 12 is it's about 8K. Believe you me, the things you get in the inner circle, not even 100K per month can deliver it to you. If you get it anywhere for 100 koi per month, please come back. People have tried. People have gone to pay for courses where they paid $1,000. All right. And one of the parents in the inner circle came back to me and said, Coach, half of what it, in fact, 1/10 of what you teach in the inner circle, I didn't learn it in 1 year. Yet I paid $1,000. So it's not just about that. What you get in the inner circle will amaze you. Right? Thank you so much for joining me this morning. If you are at the Back to School Masterclass, we will go live on the last session of that masterclass today at 10 a.m. I particularly love the Back to School Masterclass because it doesn't happen anywhere else apart from in the TIP. The way it happens. Forget anybody you see that is doing back to school, they copied it from us. Quote me anywhere. And we do it. They don't do it the way we do it. We do it in a different kind of way. All right. If you're not at the Back to School Masterclass, you want to jump in and come and learn. All right. Today is the last day, and after today, you would have to buy replay at 20,000. But I look forward to seeing you at the inner circle. Don't just sit down there and just say, wow, inspiring journey. Oh, take a step, do something, and join us at the inner circle for the next cohort, which starts on the 1st of December 2023. The good news is you can spread your payment. If you pay your booking fee 5,000 today, you can spread the rest of the payment until just before the 1st of December 2023, and you will still be good. The team will be able to keep record and all of that. Thank you so much. See you again on Monday. Right, team? Am I correct? On Monday at 8 a.m. on my intentional parenting journey. This has been an absolutely amazing, amazing share. Thank you, everybody, and see you at 10.